Hi, today I want to show you how you can create push notifications for your Wized and Webflow web apps, just like this. So we're going to click right here in our PWA, and we're getting prompted if we would like to allow push notifications. We'll click on allow, and you'll see that we're going to get our first test notification coming any second. So let's wait. And actually, oh, it just came here because I have notifications silenced. Sorry for that. But as you can see, we just got a push notification in here. And if I click on it, it actually opens the app again. So, and the nice thing about that is you can even send them programmatically through an API to specific users' devices. So, for example, Sally just bought something off your progressive web app or just got a message. You can just simply on your backend then send a message only to all of the devices that are registered for Sally's account. And I'm going to show you right now how to set that up with low code in Wized, and it really just takes a few minutes. So let's get right started. Perfect. So let's get right started with the setup, and it is super simple. So first of all, in our Webflow project, so let's go really quick from Wized to Webflow, we just want to make sure that we have added a manifest JSON so that we can add it to the home screen. In this example, we're just going to add the manifest JSON just as a manifest file. And if you want to look into how to set up a manifest JSON that is compatible with OneSignal, they got a whole template in here. You just have to copy that, open that in any code editor, or if you don't know what a code editor is, copy that, open it in your Notes app, and you're just going to customize the text, and then you're going to copy that and send it to ChatGPT and say, ChatGPT, please turn this for me into a JSON file I can download, and it will give you the file, and then you're just going to put that on subfold right here as the manifest slash manifest.json as text slash JavaScript. Perfect. So that's how we do that. And now let's go to the service worker, because we cannot build this directly in Webflow, so we need to move our Webflow site to subfold. And I made a whole video on that. It will be in the video description as well. But what we basically want to do is we want to connect our staging domain to subfold, and then we're going to add our custom domain, and you don't need to do www like I did in the last video. You can just add your main domain in here. You're just going to update those records, and then you can add your www that will redirect to your main domain. With those records, you're just going to add them. I think you know how to add CNAME records from working with Webflow, but if not, there are a lot of videos on how to do that. And then basically now we need to set up the subfold part. So after we have added our manifest JSON in here, we need to add a service worker, or we need to register a service worker. In order to do that, we need to go to settings, platforms on subfold, and we're going to start with our web configuration, and we want to select typical site. We're going to name our app, in this case Wized Push. We're going to add the site URL of the main domain, not the forwarding domain, but the main domain that is registered with our subfold project. Very important. And then we're going to add an icon and all of that. Now I'm going to use a native prompt. It is not recommended, but I still like doing things that are not recommended. So, and then we're just going to set our welcome message. This is the first push notification that the user will get the moment he or she signs up for your web application. And then we're just going to have persistence. And the nice thing, and this is why I'm going to use OneSignal here, is you don't need to care about getting your own signal. There is another one called Pusher or Beams or something like this, and you need to get your own signal. You have to register, and that's just a hassle. So OneSignal gives you access to their certificate, and I'm just going to take their certificate. So we're going to go on Save. And now we want to download our SDK files. Of course, I already prepped that. So you're going to get this zip file right here. it will be a folder in here, and that folder will just contain this file. So something went off, but that is basically a JavaScript file that it's going to get. It didn't really open on my computer though. It was supposed to open in Xcode, but it just didn't work. So let's, without a preview of that file, let's go to subfold, and actually what we want to do is, which we already did, we want to add this file for the JavaScript file for the service worker on our subfold on the file section as OneSignal SDK worker.js as text / JavaScript. And now we're going to save that, and now we have the service worker running in the background. And now the only thing we need to do is copy this code, which is unique for everybody, and we got to go to Webflow, and we got to basically paste that code in here. And now I'm going to go on save, and that is basically the basic setup to add push notifications on your Webflow and Wized project, and that's it. But now we got to do some things in Wized to make sure, because if you subscribe to push notifications, you need to know which device ID is linked to which user. So we have to use their JavaScript API a little bit. Or not really the JavaScript API, we have to use OneSignal's SDK to do that. So one quick thing I want to point out, maybe in Safari, you have to click a button to get this push notification pop up. So we have this button in here, which has an on-event click action, and you can apply this to any button. And we're simply going to do OneSignal deferred.push function OneSignal.notifications request permission force true. This is basically, if that is being run, on button click, it will open this pop-up saying, do you want to subscribe to notifications? If not already subscribed, your browser will handle that part to make sure that it will only occur when the user subscribed. And then we have one function in here in case that is needed for you to set the OneSignal identifier. So basically what we're going to do is whenever somebody subscribes in this function to a push notification, we're going to link this subscription with our unique user ID from a variable. So think of it like this. I'm user 12345, and let's call me 12345, or actually, yeah, we can do that. I'm 12345. Perfect. So, since I'm user 12345, whenever me as user 12345 will subscribe to push notifications, we will pass on with this push notification subscription. This is what this code is doing here, that this ID, this random string that's subscribed, which is just my device ID, is linked to user 12345. So that when later from my backend, build chip, Xano, whatever, I want to only send a notification to user 12345, we can actually query all device IDs in OneSignal that are linked to user 12345. But that is basically how we're going to do that. But let's just really quick change it back to example ID, because I got something prepared with that for you. So if we're going to go to OneSignal, and I'm going to go to audience subscriptions, you will see that we have subscriptions here with the external ID for example ID, the one that you just saw. As you can see here, we have example ID, and that is the thing, that is the parameter we passed on here using this function when the subscription was triggered using their SDK. So basically what this is doing, it's going to look if a subscription was created, if a token for the subscription is available, it will then send, related to this subscription ID, using their pre-built SDK, the external ID to it so that we can link it back, and then it is going to push this and update that. So this is how we're going to do the link, so that when we then need to call that, we can say, oh, send push notifications for hello Sally to every user with the external ID of external ID, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, whatever. Something like this. This is how you're going to identify the people that subscribe. Very important for custom push notifications. Then we have another thing in here, and this whole Wized project in itself is like a little SDK too. This variable, which is a computed variable with this script running here, which is doing OneSignal deferred.push to initiate that, and then current status equals OneSignal.user.push subscription.opted in, and return current status will basically return if the user that is currently on this page has subscribed or not, because you could technically trigger the action that will happen when I click on this, or if you're in Safari, you could do a computed click on this button, for example, if the status is false, if you want to automatically trigger those subscription pop-ups when the user visits the page with having to go around Safari security protections. This is just basically, this variable will help you determine if the user currently on your site has subscribed to push notifications or not. So you could potentially show like a pop-up, hey, do you know we have push notifications? Do you want to sign up for that? And then if the user already has subscribed, we will have another computed variable that basically will do the OneSignal deferred push again as the function, and we'll do push ID equals OneSignal.user.push subscription.id, and it will return if ID, it will return ID, and if no ID, it will say no ID available. So this variable will actually help you determine the ID of the subscription that is linked to that device. I haven't found a good use case for this, but I just included this in this template that you can use for your web application in case that should ever be should have any relevance for you. It may be important. But I'm not completely sure because we have the external ID already on the backend. But, you know, I just wanted to include all the possibilities in this little package for you that is available to clone 100% for free. Check out the video description. You don't need to put in your email, nothing. Just go on Webflow, clone the Webflow project, go on Wized, clone the Wized project, and that's it. So yeah, this is how you're going to build push notifications, and I will link down all of those resources as well. And as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'm always happy to help, and I'm always excited to read all your wonderful comments. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm hoping that you're going to spam your users as good as I did when testing this project. So thank you so much, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.